released testimony from Cassidy Hutchinson, who worked for Trump's chief of staff, Mark Meadows, indicates that there was a lot of document burning going on. A lot of document destruction going on, and a lot of love for QAnon apparently coming from the likes of Mark Meadows. Before we get to the QAnon part, why don't we discuss a little bit about what Cassidy Hutchinson had testified before the January 6th Select House Committee. What they found was that during a closed door interview with the House Committee investigating January 6th in May, Cassidy Hutchinson said that she had seen Meadows throw documents into his office's fireplace, maybe a dozen, maybe just over a dozen times between December of 2020 and January of 2021, according to a new round of transcripts released Tuesday of this week. So that's a big deal because they're not supposed to be destroying documents. They're supposed to be an official record of what's going on within the administration. We had previously heard about Donald Trump destroying documents, flushing them down the toilet. Now it appears that there are more individuals involved. Now, she also said that on several occasions, she was in Meadows' office when he threw documents into the fireplace after a meeting, meaning that she witnessed it firsthand. Reporting from earlier this year revealed that Hutchinson saw him burn documents after one meeting with GOP Representative Scott Perry, who's a Pennsylvania Republican that was definitely involved, highly involved in the efforts to overturn the 2020 election. But the recently released transcript of Hutchinson's testimony shows that she actually told the committee that Meadows burned papers after meetings with Perry on multiple occasions. It didn't just happen once, possibly as many as 4 times. Hutchinson also said that Perry met with Meadows about election issues, specifically saying the vice president's and specifically about the vice president's role on January 6th. So one more quote from her, and then I'll go to you, Cenk. She testified, quote, "Mid-December, I believe Mr. Perry started coming to meet with Mr. Meadows about what he believed could happen on January 6th. And they were preparing various PowerPoints, and he would bring physical material. I remember one time Meadows' door was propped open. He put a few things in the fireplace. Mr. Perry was in the office with him, but I don't remember who else was. Mr. Perry brought a few other people to meet with him." So again, she witnessed it firsthand, and now we're learning about far more instances of document destruction within the Trump White House than we previously knew about. Cenk.
I have a dramatic point. Okay, I will save that for a second. So first, is it illegal to do that? Yes, it's definitely illegal to burn government documents when you're in the president's office. You must save that by law. Will Mark Meadows be punished for that? Does anyone in the elites ever get punished for anything, right? But the second point is an interesting one, which is, wait, why is he burning documents? Don't guilty people usually do that? So if you're a MAGA guy, I know you refuse to think, but if you think about it for 1 second, doesn't that show you that at least Mark Meadows thought for sure that what they were doing was wrong and he wanted to get rid of the evidence? So that's a stone cold fact, and everyone with any common sense knows that. Okay, now the interesting point. Mark Meadows is one guy who could potentially put a nail in Donald Trump's political coffin. So why do I say that? I mean, a million insiders have turned on him and it hasn't dented him at all. And no one in the right wing has listened to a MAGA world. So why would Mark Meadows matter? Because he has more credibility? No, former chiefs of staff, former guys, deeply right wingers, just like Mark Meadows, have all turned and no one's cared. But there is one giant difference now, which is that right wing media is no longer backing Donald Trump. So if Meadows, because of things like this, and if he's in trouble himself, if he, and with a wink and a nod from the Republican establishment, if he turns on Trump and says, golly gee, I was there and I didn't want to do it, but this guy really wanted to destroy America. And if the right-wing media goes, oh, we are so surprised, we did not know that about Donald Trump, and this is his chief of staff and a very right-wing person. He has a lot of credibility. I think this one is true. If right-wing media says that, Trump could actually be in a lot of trouble.
Look, it would require Mark Meadows to fess up to destroying documents. I don't know if he's willing to do that. So your theory is an interesting one. I don't think it's gonna come to fruition, we'll see. But apparently former Trump aide Nick Luna also testified to the committee that he had seen Donald Trump ripping up documents as well. So now we have multiple people who were within the Trump White House testifying under oath that they saw high-level officials, including Donald Trump and Mark Meadows, destroying documents. And in addition to destroying documents, Hutchinson testified that members of Trump's administration and Republican allies talked positively about QAnon. So this part I'm not that surprised about. Apparently Peter Navarro's like all about QAnon. He's like, oh yeah, did you hear about what QAnon said? It looks like we should look into it. There might be some truth to it. Apparently he would bring materials about the election to Cassidy. And so she talked about that in her testimony. And at one point, I had sarcastically said, oh, is this from your QAnon friends, Peter? Again, she's talking to Peter Navarro, because Peter would talk to me frequently about his QAnon friends. He said, quote, have you looked into it yet, Cass? I think they point out a lot of good ideas. You really need to read this. Make sure the chief sees it. So that was going on as well. Liz Cheney asked Hutchinson whether Navarro was being sarcastic about his QAnon friends, to which she replied, quote, I did not take it as sarcasm. Throughout my tenure working for the chief of staff, he would frequently bring in memos and PowerPoints on various policy proposals that he would then expand on. You know, Q is saying this. Is QAnon putting PowerPoints together, or is it Peter Navarro putting PowerPoints together based on QAnon conspiracy theories? I'm just amazed that they're putting PowerPoints together. Like, it's incredible.
No, look, Anna, for us, it's obvious that Peter Navarro is a kook, a deeply troubled, mentally troubled person. And you can see it in all of his appearances. And he's the idiot who wrote the book about how they had the fake elector scheme. And he wrote a whole book admitting to treason, basically. And so again, I don't want anybody I clarified it almost every time. I don't want people to think, oh, treason, let's go. Whenever the right wing says that, they mean let's go kill him. We do not mean that. We mean just, for God's sake, will someone arrest a guy who wrote a whole book about committing sedition against America, right? So, but mainstream media takes Peter Navarro super seriously. He has the kind of resume and background where they think he's one of them. So they're like, oh, what does Peter Navarro think? A former Trump advisor, Peter Navarro. This guy's a lunatic who believes in QAnon conspiracy theories. And unsurprisingly, of course, another one that pushed those theories inside the White House whenever she visited was Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Yeah, that's the least shocking part of these, of the testimony that we're now reading about and learning about. But it's just confirmation, in my opinion, and reinforcement of what we suspected was transpiring within the Trump White House. And the real question is, it's nice to know, it's nice to confirm everything that we suspected. What now? That's really the only question I have, because it's not good enough to just do an investigation and find the truth. Like Biden did an investigation into Mohammed bin Salman and how he ordered the assassination and dismemberment of Jamal Khashoggi, and then he did nothing. So I'm not really interested in all of this political theater that keeps going on. I want to know whether or not we're actually going to do something with the details that have been unearthed through this lengthy multi-year investigation.
So Anna, like I said earlier, there's actually now, for the first time ever, a slim hope that actually could happen. Before, if you watch Young Turks all this time, we told you the Democrats and everybody in power in the establishment, they're full of crap. They're never gonna prosecute Donald Trump. They're just gonna huff and puff, and they've been doing that for 6 straight years. Oh, we're about to get him. We're about to get him. There could be an indictment. Oh, shut up already, right? But now that right-wing media and Rupert Murdoch and the powerful forces in the right wing have turned against Trump, he has no one to protect him. And they want him to go away because they think he's causing losses, not just for the Republican Party, but for really rich people. And they are aggrieved about that. When he was winning and he was giving them tax cuts, They did not mind Donald Trump, no matter what he said, no matter how many laws he broke. But now that he's causing losses for the wealthy and the powerful, Democratic and Republican members of the establishment and the media could get together to finally bury him. And then if you see that happening now, don't get it twisted. It isn't because he just happened to break a law. It's that they decided that they now have enough unity among the elites to go finally prosecute Donald Trump.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.